All right, we speak to London-based Ghanaian journalist Jon Offei-Ansah. He's the founder and publisher of Africa Briefing, a Pan-African news magazine based in London. He joins us now via Zoom. So, Jon, when we spoke yesterday, developments were underway. So Boris Johnson will now step down as Prime Minister. He clearly was pushed, but some are suggesting that it may even be a putsch. Is that taking it a little too far? Is that far-fetched to characterize it in that manner?
Well, he was pushed because the rank and file of the conservative MPs, were fed up, with this obfuscation, with this economy, also the economy of the truth, and all that. And they thought, they felt that it was time that he made way for a new leader with more credibility, in the eyes of both the parliamentarians and the electorate at large.
As you say, Jon, it's a messy end to a tumultuous tenure. So he steps down as Conservative Party leader after the recent scandal prompted by a wave of resignations from his top officials. But he plans to stay on as Prime Minister until a successor is in place. And we'll talk about the options in a couple of minutes, but I just want to understand the process that unfolds, and then we'll take a look at his legacy, the various scandals that have come to the fore.
Yes, actually, his legacy actually has been tainted. I mean, like a past Prime Minister, Tony Blair, who was so popular, he made a lot of changes to British way of life, but going to Iraq with the former President George Bush, tainted his legacy. And we could say the same about Boris Johnson, because he took Britain out of the European Union, through Brexit. Okay, by the sheer force of his personality, he managed to achieve that. Okay, he acquitted himself well, in the fight against COVID. I mean, UK, I think, was the first European country to get out of lockdown. Okay, and again, when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine war, that is his foreign policy. I mean, he so far spearheaded, the resistance to Russia's invasion to Ukraine. So I mean, these are some of the legacies, or the achievements he made. But these achievements, this legacy is tainted, by the questionable aspect of his character.
And I mean, there's some who would disagree with you on some of the things that you say, or you count among his legacy. For instance, some say Boris Johnson leaves behind a fraught economy and an uneasy Brexit legacy. We spoke about it yesterday, that he had countless personal scandals behind him. What would be the litmus test to see what really should be accorded him as somebody who is always in the papers generally for the wrong reasons, but who did make his mark? Because there are those who said he succeeded where Theresa May failed. But at the same time, it's his bumbling way of handling what some would say were very serious situations that probably got him in hot water.
Yeah, actually, I mean, he has a massive personality, and he's full of bluster. I mean, look, the average Englishman would say he's a lovable rogue or a lovable buffoon. I mean, his personality sort of endeared him seriously to a whole lot of British people, but he used that again to push through some policies he was very passionate about. I did mention Brexit, okay? And when COVID reared its ugly head, initially he did not take it seriously, right? But he actually fell victim to COVID. He nearly died. He was in hospital for a number of weeks, and he came out, and he managed to galvanize, people, the whole country, the government, set up, vaccine rollouts, lockdown, everything. Okay. So that, and like I said earlier on, Britain was one of the first countries in Europe to come out of lockdown. Okay. But his legacy, that is tainted. Number one, the party gates. When, the government passed laws, to enforce lockdown, all right, he and some of his colleagues, at Downing Street were having parties, enjoying breaking every COVID rule that they themselves introduced. So now that was part of the legacy that was ruined. Again, he was the first prime minister to be fined, to be fined by the police for breaking a rule. It's never happened in British history, in British political history. So these are some of the, the setbacks, or the character flaws that Boris Johnson has. But all in all, I mean, look, COVID has wreaked havoc on so many economies, almost every economy in the world. Talk about America, talk about your country, South Africa, talk about, places in other African countries like Ghana and so on and so forth. COVID has wreaked, a big economic havoc. But he's managed to, in my opinion, he's managed to sort of help, with the increased cost of living and all that. So, I mean, he achieved something. But what has happened now, is that his legacy, will forever be tarnished. People will remember him as the first prime minister, to be forced to resign, for these reasons.
All right, just a quick one, John. I need to ask you this. He's appointed 12 new ministers in the wake of the resignation. Some have said his resignation wasn't quite a resignation. So let's look at what next. There are those who say, there needs to be a clean slate. So the contenders for this position, and some of those have been the ministers who have resigned. Share with me who you think are the strongest contenders.
Well, so far, the bookies have the current Defense Secretary, Minister of Defense, Ben Wallace, as the favorite to succeed him. But look, Boris Johnson is still occupying the Downing Street because he's waiting for the powerful Tory backbench committee in Parliament, the 1922 committee, to set the rules and set the ball rolling, for the election of a new party leader. So for the time being, he will be enough. But other members of the Tory party, both MPs and non-MPs, are saying that he should step aside immediately and let his deputy, Dominic Raab, take temporary charge. That is something that is being debated at the moment. So maybe come next week, maybe the 1922 committee might force him to vacate number 10 Downing Street, or let him stay in office, till October, by which time the new leader would have been elected.